We drove from Melbourne to the 12 Apostles, and this is what we saw. Let's go! And of course, when we get to the 12 Apostles from Melbourne, we're not gonna V-line straight there. We're gonna stop over at various locations. The first place that we stopped at was, of course, the Chocolate Factory. Now, this place is like the Garden of Eden in the middle of the desert. You drive for miles and miles and miles, and you wind up at this awesome chocolate factory, which has a massive grandeur and a very colorful getup. Not only do you get to see the production of chocolate and sweet products being made, there is so many delicacies that you can enjoy from the shop. I personally had no idea chocolate, that brown sludge of sweetness, could ever be bent and shaped and colored in so many different shapes and sizes, and it was just mind-numbingly wonderful to be in this store. One of the most interesting things I've seen was a 1 meter long bar of chocolate. I wonder how long that will take to finish. If you'd like to see me finish that bar of chocolate in its entirety, leave a comment below and I might consider making a video just for you guys. One of the most interesting highlights for this chocolate factory is its ice creamery section. You have a massive variety, an absolute plethora of options that an ice cream can bring. And you will be sitting there considering for hours of which flavors to choose, only to find out the ice cream that you've ordered is too much. When the Bible talked about the land flowing with milk and honey, I wonder if that was referring to this chocolate factory. And one of the most mesmerizing things you can see at the Chocolaterie is this section where they keep rotating this disc, and chocolate in its raw keg form, it just keeps flowing through. And I literally stood there watching it for hours. Now, I'm not even much of a sweet tooth, and there were so many captivating things I could see in this chocolate factory. Now, walking out of the chocolate factory, there is a massive expanse of grass where people can hang out. I could only imagine how many people would actually be there if it was in its full capacity, both inside the shop and also in the cafeteria area, as well as the outdoor, I guess, lounging and picnic and activity areas. There I was able to see many kangaroos just doused in chocolate and different sweets as a statue, and they were a sight of it in itself. Needless to say, if you have diabetes, it is highly not recommended that you visit this store, but if you don't, go nuts. Now, that evening we could have stayed at different towns along the Great Ocean Road. We decided to stay in Anglesea because they were the only place that they had an accommodation for us to stay in. Now, because it was such a last-minute booking, they were actually able to hook us up with a 3-bedroom cabin for just $140, which was unbelievable. And yes, it was such an awesome experience. Now, BIG4 Caravan Parks are one of the biggest caravan park chains around Australia. Our experience there was an absolute 5.5-star experience. The campsite was decorated with statues of animals. It was extremely family friendly. Everything was clean and tidy, and there were cockatoos that would perch on our front porch. It was just perfect. It had some really fun accommodation options as well. They had some of these, I guess, safari tents. I saw a lot of families and kids playing around in the area. I think it'll be a very attractive option for these families too. I think next time, if I have an opportunity, I would love to stay in these safari tents myself. Now, coming to the playground area, it was very nice. I'm an adult, and I would love to play, and I myself would enjoy very much playing on this very interesting looking playgrounds. But we were a bit too big for this, so we went to the pillow instead, where it is basically a giant pillow that's inflated and you can just jump on it because it's fun. And now, if you haven't noticed by now, I love the water. I have so much content all around water, waterfalls, the ocean, scuba diving. Check out the rest of my channel, both here in Australia and also overseas. Now, this BIG4 Caravan Park had a dope pool, and it was an indoor pool, so even if it was a little bit colder outside, we could actually enjoy this pool as well. And of course, there was no one else around. The pool divided into 2 sections, one for the big kids and the other one for the little kids. We stayed in the big kids pool. There was a awesome waterfall that came down, as well as this dope slide that we could play in. And that evening we went to go and chase one of the most iconic features of Anglesea, and that of course is kangaroos. We went to the golf course and there were literally kangaroos everywhere.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can you see?
Yeah. There's a lot here.
Now maybe it's like an Australian thing and I've been living in Australia for a long time, so I'm not really that afraid of kangaroos. So I actually got nice and quite personal with these kangaroos, but they didn't run away. So I was pretty happy because I was able to get these reasonably up close shots of kangaroos that live in Anglesea Golf Course. And I think one of the better features of road tripping in Australia is that in these caravan parks you can come back home and you can actually cook your own meal. After a long day's travel, yes, cooking might be the last thing you want to do, but so is going out to a restaurant and having a bad experience as well. Rather, you can bring your own fresh food and ingredients and you can cook your own meal. Now, I'm laughing when I said fresh because you're probably seeing instant noodles there, but that is our comfort food and that's what helps us relax and fill our stomach. And of course, by preparing your own meals, you don't have to spend as much money in restaurants. So that's another wonderful saving tip that you can utilize during your road trips. Now, out of Anglesea, one of the first places that we stopped over was at the lighthouse. And yes, it is one of the more iconic landmarks. So there you will see slightly more people gathered around. The lighthouse itself is beautiful. Yes, you do have to pay some money to go up the top, but we actually took the path down nearer to the cliff so that not only we can appreciate the lighthouse up in its hill, but the view along the coastline and towards the beach. There were many rock features there that I thought was absolutely beautiful. And at this point, we were nowhere near the 12 Apostles, but already we're soaking in the beauty and the grandeur that is the Australian beachside cliff rock formation and the shoreline. Driving further up the road, we were able to find some houses that we only thought would exist in movies, where houses are actually built on the cliffside, getting a full view out to the ocean. The view in itself would be $1 million alone, and I thought to myself, gee, that would be a pretty amazing place to live in. Okay, and of course, we actually stood at the sign for Great Ocean Road, did the very touristy thing and take videos and photos there. You will do that along with so many other people as well, so wait patiently for your turn and respect the space for other travelers to enjoy as well. So Great Ocean Road, as you can see, gets its name from the fact that it is right up against the shoreline. So you will get some beautiful views of cliff sides, as well as forests, as well as the ocean, as well as the shoreline and the beaches. That's going to basically continue for hours and hours and hours on end. Here in Victoria, the Great Ocean Road begins right here. Come along a journey with us. If you haven't done so, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can stay updated with some of the most beautiful places that I get to visit in this world. So without further ado, let's jump right onto the drive on the Great Ocean Road. And a bit further down the road, we actually stopped at this beach where the rock formation on the ground was just very, very interesting. I'm sure it had formed over some lava or something like that, but it was very, very unique. We took some photos there, and there is a patch of grass with a cute little bench on it. So we sat down there and I watched my sister enjoy a cup of coffee. And along the Great Ocean Road, there are many, many, many viewing platforms. So we stopped at every viewing platform just to soak in the wind, the view, the smell, the beach, the sand, and everything that we could behold with our tiny little eyes. And we were feeling a little peckish and snackish, so along the way we saw that there were these wild poison raspberries. I don't know what they are, so we just started eating them, and that was fantastic. Now, I know we shouldn't be just eating fruits off random trees, but I know what these trees are, and I've had them before growing up here in Australia, so I knew that they were edible, and it was seriously delicious. And needless to say, far more healthier than the sweet options at the Chocolaterie. But just be careful if you're going for these berries, there are some spikes there, so try not to get yourself cut. And along the way, we made a pit stop for some lunch where we unpacked some of the packed lunch we had. And of course, we're Koreans, so we like our instant noodles, so especially when we're on our trips. So we just went to a nearby cafe where we got some hot water and some coffee and some other things at the local IGA as well. So we took a bench and had a little picnic lunch. We were actually stopped by the beauty of the Australian forest. Now guys, this video was shot in March, which is just coming out of summer. I just could not comprehend how much moisture and lush green flora we were able to see. There were these massive tall trees and forests that basically covered the road, we had to stop and take some photos. And of course, excitement is building as we pass the 12 Apostles signage, because yes, this is a world-class destination. Now, just before we actually got to the 12 Apostles, we actually made a stopover at another viewing platform just to get a quick snapshot and a quick viewing peek of the 12 Apostles area. And after that, we actually got to the real 12 Apostles area where we parked and actually walked over under the road to get to the viewing platform for 12 Apostles. Now, there were signs that you have to be careful of snakes. Now, you are in Australia, so do be careful of snakes. If you do see them, don't go near them, just walk away from it and try to avoid them. Now, you know that your boy loves the drone footage. I would have totally sent one up and got you some gobsmackingly beautiful shots, but unfortunately, drones are banned at the 12 Apostles. So if you've got one and you want to fly one there, just don't even try. Don't even bring any. But as I'm walking down to the official viewing platform of the 12 Apostle, the excitement is brewing. And of course, the first thing I saw towards the right-hand side was pillars of rocks that they call 12 Apostles. Everything there was massive. Not only the rock formation itself, but the waves were big, the beaches were big, the wind was big. Everything was just so grandeur. Some of them would stand there for not necessarily, hours, but tens of minutes. They would just stand in the awe of their view. And I felt the same thing. It was just so beautiful. I've seen people cry. I've seen people call their family when they are looking at this. It comes to show how amazing and how much it brings out your emotions and basically, some gratitude of the fact that this exists for your enjoyment, for your viewing pleasure. It is highly recommended that in your lifetime, you must visit once this amazing site. It is a wonderful view to ponder upon your life, and it is just a fantastic place to be in. Now, I did see that there was a helicopter flying by. Yes, it seems like there is a helicopter service available. Unfortunately, we didn't have time for that, but should you comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel enough times, that I may be able to go back there and do that again to show you how amazing the experience is, so that you and I can share that same experience. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that wraps up the trip along Great Ocean Road. 12 Apostles. If you haven't done it, make sure you go check it out. There are so many things that you will see along the way. It is a wonderful way to bond with your travel mates as well. Me and my sister, we had an amazing time. Whether you're traveling with your partner, your family, your friends, it comes highly recommended. There is something so special and amazing about road trips that it brings out your true self, and it brings out energy, and it brings out gratitude. When you are, and if you are fortunate to be here in Australia, Great Ocean Road is an absolute must. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you haven't done so, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And I will see you in the next beautiful place that I will have the pleasure to visit and show to you in the next video. And until that time, and until next time, peace.